Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L.
Go.
Alright, I'm going to teach you guys how to solve and graph quadratic functions. Start off by labeling -2 through 2 for the x-axis. Then just plug in the x. We're going to start with -2. -2 squared is 4. So 4 plus 6. And 3 times 2 is 6. That gives you 8 plus 6 plus 1, which is 15. -1. You're going to plug in negative into the equation. That will give you -1 squared, which is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. -3 times -1 is 3. So 3. 5 plus 1 is 6. Now 0. We're going to plug in 0 for the x. You don't have to do that. We could just plug in 0 squared is 0 times 2 is 0 minus 3x, which is 3 times 2 is 0. Times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. And once you get this side of a function, you could just flip it over to the other side, which gives you 6, 15. Now just graph it. Your first one is 0, 1, which is right here. Then you got 1, 6, and negative 1, 6. So right here. And then you got 2, 15, which you could just leave it at that, but as you see, it's close to the y-axis. Now we're going to solve this one. But in this case, you have x squared minus 2x equals -1. So what you have to do is add 1 to both sides. And that will give you x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. Now you just simply graph that. Starting off the same way as you did on that side. When you plug in -2 squared is 4 minus -2 times -2 plus 4 plus 1 equals 8 plus 1, 9. Now -1 squared is 1. -2 times -1 is 2, so plus 2 plus 1 equals 4. Now when you plug in 0, 0 squared is 0 minus 2 squared minus 2 times 0, 0 plus 1, 1 plus 1. And like we did with the other side, you just flip it over again. Like this is 4 and 9. This is 4. This is 9. Now I'll just graph it again. 0, 1, which is right here. -1, 4. And positive 1, 4. And you got 2, 9. Well, just to see what it would look like. 9. So you got 2, 9. Which is right here. -2, 9. I'm going to use the actual measure.
Solving quadratics by graphing on a calculator. Solving quadratics is easier to do on a calculator because it saves you time. So before we get started, you need to make sure that each equation that you have follows the quadratic formula. And that is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So one example would be y equals 5x squared minus 3x minus 2. So, in order to do this on a calculator, you would go to y equals and type in this equation. Then you go to second, trace, then 2. Okay, so this line should pop up, and you would have to move your little point to the left side as close to the x-axis as possible. Push enter, and do the same thing for the right side. Enter. Then it would ask to guess, and you just push enter again, and your answer should pop up on the bottom. So that is x equals 1 and y equals 0. Okay, so another example would be x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals 2. So this equation is not the same as the quadratic formula, so you'd have to rearrange it so they could be the same. So you would have to subtract 2 from each side, which would cancel this out, and it'll equal x squared minus 5x minus 5. Then you would do the same thing on the calculator, go to y equals and type this in. Second, trace, then 2. And go to the x-axis, enter. Enter. Enter again. Then that should be the answer. And to round it up, we'll say x equals 5.8 and y equals 0.
How to do much more complicated quadratics. So the first one will be 15 minus 7x equals to x minus 3 squared. So in reality, this is really just x minus 3 twice. So you can write it out like that. And what I like to use is the box method. So x minus 3, x minus 3. Create your little box. X times x equals x squared. X times negative 3 equals to negative 3x. Negative 3 times x equals negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is equal to 9. Combine like terms, so negative 3x plus negative 3x becomes negative 6x plus 9, which is equal to 15 minus 7x. And now you want all your variables on one side, so I am going to do plus 7x minus 15, which is going to be equal to x squared plus x minus 6. And now we're going to take out our calculator. We're going to put this in. So x squared plus x minus 6 graph. And there's your parabola. Pretty simple. So the next one, 2 times 2x plus 7 equals to x plus 4 times x plus 1. So let's do this one first. 2 times 2x is equal to 4x. 2 times 7 is equal to 14. On here, let's do our boxes. So x, 4, x, 1. Create a little box. X times x equals to x squared. X times 4 equals to 4x. 1 times x equals just x, and 1 times 4 is equal to 4. Combine like terms, and this becomes x squared plus 5x plus 4, which is equal to 4x plus 14. Remember, you want all your variables on one side. So now this becomes x squared plus x minus 10. And go back to your calculator. X squared plus x minus 10. Graph it. And there is your second parabola. Now, let's say that you have an inequality in your question. Well, first off, let's lay down some ground rules. If there is a line below your inequality, that will tell you that that is a solid line parabola. If there's no line, then you're just going to create a dash. So our first step is to just ignore it for now and just graph it as usual. So let's go back to our calculator. X x squared plus x minus 6. Graph it. All right, let's just make a rough draft of this. And basically, here's our rule. So if it is greater than it, you do it inside of it. If it is less than it, then you go outside of it. So now let's do this one too. So x squared plus x minus 10, graph. Just create a rough. And you're going to make a dash because there's no line under it. It's going to be outside because it's going this way. And that's all.